Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Erica with Memory Box Candle Co. and I make videos all about the journey of starting a candle business. And today's video is going to be a Q&A. I actually asked you guys over on my Instagram account, I believe it was on Friday or Saturday, one of those days, just for you to ask me anything. So life, candle making, business, baby, basically anything like that you wanted to ask me. Also, I have to preface this video to let you know that I am very tired right now. I think you can probably see it on my face. Yesterday was a long day. We traveled. And it was just a very long day from start to finish. So this morning was a little bit rough, but I was able to get going, and now I'm sitting down to film to answer your questions. So I went through and I made a list of all of the questions that you guys asked me, and I don't think I'll be able to get to all of your questions in this video. Otherwise, I feel like it would be a really, really long video. But there were a lot of questions that were kind of asked multiple times or kind of in similar ways. So I'm going to start off with that. So the first one, I added on kind of two different questions on here. So the first one is, do you and your husband have plans of moving out of your apartment like in the future? And then the other one is, congrats on the baby. Will you have to move to accommodate for him and the candles? So this topic is interesting because this is something that we're just having to figure out as we go along. I mean, as you know, we are in a small one-bedroom apartment. This area right here behind me is actually our candle making area now. This was our bedroom. We did used to have all of the candle making stuff in our living room and dining room area, but because of baby and in preparation for that, and also the fact that I couldn't stand the smell in the first trimester of all of the fragrances everywhere out in the living room, we decided to move everything in here so that everything's kind of away. We have a door to close, and then now we're basically in like a studio apartment setting with a separate workshop for our candle business. Somebody else had asked a question that I wanted to add on to this is, do you like your new candle space? And yes and no. So it is basically moving from double, if not 2.5 times the size that our room is right now. Out in the living room, we had all that space. In here, there's definitely less space, but we're making it work again with what we have. I feel like our motto is just kind of like, we're making it work. You know, we're doing the best that we can. I know that there are families all over the world that, you know, start families in way smaller, you know, square footage areas than we have right now. So I'm just grateful that we have a roof over our head. I mean, as everybody knows, inflation is crazy. California prices are just, I mean, another level. So we're just doing the best we can right now. So this is what we are planning on doing, at least in the very beginning, until, you know, we figure out being parents and having a baby and having a new member of the family, and just, you know, getting used to that, because that in and of itself is going to be a transition. So we did this transition in the apartment months ago, so now it's just normal. And I'm glad that we didn't wait until right before baby got here, because I feel like that would have been so much of kind of a transition all at once. So as of right now, this is kind of our setup of how we're going to be doing it. But yes, of course, in the future, we are absolutely going to want to get into a bigger space, but that may not be in California, just depending on our financial situation at the time and what we can afford. We may have to move out to, you know, one of the surrounding states that are a little bit more affordable than California. So that's kind of, you know, up in the air as of right now. We really don't know. And, you know, I tried so long to just try to plan out every little aspect of my life and figure it out. And right now I'm like, nah, we'll see what happens. Like, we're doing the best that we can, but it's a little challenging right now. Hi, it's me, just interrupting this video real fast just to let you know that I do offer a handmade business planner for any business owner that is looking to get organized. I have a digital planner template that you're able to use to help with organization, planning, and structure within your weekly routine. I know how overwhelming it can be, and this has really helped me. So if you're looking for something like this, go ahead and click on the first link in the description box below. The next question I really liked, it says, does a good well-made candle still have a little itty bit of soot? This is just my personal opinion. I think yes. I think especially as the candle is burning lower in the jar, and it's kind of getting engulfed in, it's the lower it burns in the jar, the hotter it's going to be. So the flame, as long as it's not continuously sooting or sooting every single 2 seconds, like on and off, and it's really coating the ends of the jar. But if it's every once in a while, just a little bit comes off the wick, I personally don't think that that is a bad performing candle. Now, of course, there's other factors that go into determining what is a good performing candle or not, or a well-made candle, if you will. So I just thought that was kind of a cute question because, again, I will actually link above right here if you want to check out my video where I was talking about, the fact that I don't make perfect candles, and that might give you maybe some, validation, peace of mind, whatever it is, that, I think the same things that other people are thinking that maybe is not talked about too much in the candle making community, that, everything has to be absolutely perfect in every single burn test. I don't think that that's the case at all. Next question is, what's the measuring tool you use when pouring your candles? So I went and grabbed it for you. It looks like this, and it is a wax depth measuring tool, basically. This is from the Etsy shop I'm always talking about. I get all of my wicking devices from this Etsy shop, and I will have that link down below. And I believe on his Etsy shop, it is just called a wax depth gauge. And that is just so you are able to actually adjust it. So it looks a little bit different on his Etsy shop. He has sent me in the beginning a lot of like prototype type of things for me to try out before he actually puts it on his Etsy shop. I've been working with him for years, since he kind of got started in the 3D printing. So it's actually a way for you to unscrew it and adjust it to the level that you need. So it's pretty cool, and it's definitely a lot more sturdy than using aluminum foil, but there's nothing wrong with just using aluminum foil on the side if you need to, because that's how I got started. This next question is really sweet. It's just, how is your health? I'm feeling pretty good, minus yesterday. Just being very tired. I kind of learned my limits of this pregnancy, and being up at 4 o'clock in the morning, and then traveling 3 hours, and then not being able to lay down all day, and then traveling 3 hours back home. That wasn't necessarily something that my body was like, yeah, this is great. Just very uncomfortable, because I've noticed, the further I get along, the more I start to feel back pain earlier on in the day if I haven't had a chance to lay down on my side and just, relieve that pressure. But overall, I mean, I've been feeling really good. Just, taking it day by day, enjoying this part of my pregnancy, of being kind of right in the middle of the second trimester, I would say, maybe at the later half, which is crazy. I'm going to be 22 weeks tomorrow, which is just, it's crazy how fast it's going. But overall, I'm doing really good. Thank you so much for asking. I'm able to eat healthier than I was in the first trimester, and, take walks all the time. I'm able to do Pilates. I have a spin bike in the apartment. If you can imagine, we have just so much little space, and we still just have an indoor spin bike in here because I love spinning so much. And that was kind of our Black Friday splurge that we got at the end of last year. So again, I don't know how we're able to fit all of what we have into the places that we're able to keep them. We have our garage, and then we have just what we have in the apartment, and thank goodness for Chris, because I wouldn't have been able to figure this all out. But thank you so much for asking. I am doing pretty dang well overall. Next question, is candle making still profitable? Absolutely. I definitely kind of want to make my opinion on a video that Jeff had recently put out because I can relate to a lot of his feelings and emotions and everything that is, going on with the economy and how sales are slower. And trust me, I'm feeling it too, but it doesn't mean that candle making and having a candle business isn't profitable. It's harder in economies that make it harder, but again, with certain businesses and certain ways that people are able to get around that and find opportunities where maybe other people aren't looking, or they're willing to do things that maybe other people aren't willing to do. It's all about utilizing what you have available to you. So like in Jeff's video, he was talking about just putting out as much content as possible, which I completely agree. Also figure out ways that you're able to expand and sell in other areas. So for instance, I'm really working on like the wholesale and private label side of my business. You could be looking into expanding more into like doing more local markets and stuff like that. So it really just depends, but overall, I mean, it's profitable if you set your business up in a way that's going to be profitable. If you know your cost of goods, if you know your profit margins, if you are increasing your prices enough to where you are profitable, then yeah, you're going to be able to eventually be profitable. Maybe not profitable overall, because I know we've talked about this before, to where as long as you're profitable for each product that you are selling, in my opinion, that's the most important thing, especially when getting started. But it's very normal for a business to end the year in the red, meaning that you spend more on supplies than what you made in your business. But as long as you're profiting per candle that you're selling, that's all that matters. So that's the main focus that you need to be focusing on in order to be profitable. I really like this question. This one is, do you have a motto for running your business? And I don't necessarily know if it's a motto for specifically with my business, although it does definitely, I do think about it towards my business, but it's just mainly my motto in life, and I've talked about it a lot. And it's basically, what can you do right now to make your future self proud? There was actually a quote that I have on my online business planner that I have. So it's, do something today that your future self will thank you for. And that just kind of puts a lot of things into perspective. It puts kind of a boost of motivation when you think about it. You're like, okay, if I have to make anybody proud, it's gotta be your future self. It's gotta be your future self where you look back and you're like, I'm so happy that I worked hard on these certain things, or I'm so happy that I stepped out of my comfort zone to be able to move forward in whatever area that you're focusing on. It's just a really good motto because it's nothing that is, you're not doing something for anybody else but yourself. So you are thinking about making somebody proud, but the making somebody proud is your future self, so that you can look back and be like, oh my God, thank you so much for doing that, because it just made your life so much better, and it really helps to boost that motivation in the moment. Next question is, when will your candle making course be available? So I don't think that I've actually mentioned it in a YouTube video yet, which I feel like I should have, but sometimes I get a little nervous because I'm like, oh, I don't want to say that I'm doing something and then not do it. I can't stand that. And with my, kind of ADD brain, sometimes I get so excited to do something and I get nervous that if I say that I'm going to do something and then, a week later I'm like, nah, I've already lost interest in it. So it's hard for me to follow through on certain things. But I am actually in the middle of filming and preparing for a soy 10 candle making course. I didn't want to make a broad candle making course. Essentially what I'm going to be doing with this is I have the most experience working with soy 10 than any other waxes that I've worked with. It's the wax that I know. I know kind of all the ins and outs with it. So I'm going to be doing a candle making course specifically working with soy 10 and just going through step-by-step processes, talking about all the little details, all the little things that I've learned to make the best performing candles with soy 10. I don't necessarily know when I'm going to be launching that. I'm hoping sometime next month, but it really just depends on when I'm able to get the content filmed. I just filmed last week, I think the first lesson, and I'm going to try to make it very, to the point, not a lot of extra stuff in there, but still enough to where an absolute beginner would be able to leave the course and have a really good understanding and a good idea on how to make candles using soy 10. That's pretty much the goal with it. But I am really excited because I feel like it's about time, right? Like it's about time that I had some sort of candle making course of some kind, especially for the people that are just really interested in that portion of my channel and learning more about the candle making aspect of, having a candle business, whether it's you want to start it candle making as a hobby or for a business. The course would basically be for either or. Next question is, would you hesitate to start a candle business as a side business initially? Absolutely not. I actually thought this was an interesting question because I feel like starting a candle business as a side business is the best way to get started with it, especially if you're somebody who's working a full-time job, or if you have, like, you're a full-time parent or whatever it is and you have a lot going on and you only have a little bit of time to be dedicating towards it. I don't think that that's a bad idea at all. That's how I got started. I mean, I was working my day job and then I did my candle business on the side. Actually, I think I was also doing eBay at the time as well. So I had my eBay business, my candle business that I was working on. I don't think I had launched yet. And then I had my day job. And I think that that's the best way to get started because you can really just take your time and learn, because the biggest thing is people get really excited about starting a candle business before they've ever made a candle. And I want you to take the time that you need to learn your craft, because candle making is a craft and you are learning so much that is going to be in your end product, and it's going to make all the difference in how your product is, how it sells, the value that you're going to be bringing people, and the perceived value of your product. So I say that, if you're wanting to get started with a candle business, I think that most of us get started with it as a side business. At least that's how I got started, and I think there's no issue with that. I think it's really, really good. Next question is, will you be making candles during pregnancy? I most likely will. I don't think that I've poured candles in a little while. The clip that you guys saw, so the video of Chris and I making candles together, I was very, very, very newly pregnant in that video, but I always wear my respirator and I don't smell anything or feel heaviness in my lungs or anything when I'm wearing the respirator. So I wouldn't have any issues. My doctors know that we make candles and all that kind of stuff. It's never been an issue. We do have a lot of ways of ventilation, but again, I have my respirator. But with Chris making the candles 95 to 99% of the time, I'm not as involved in that process, but I have to be honest that I miss it so much. And I miss just being able to document, that, because with sharing your business online, a lot of it is just documenting your day-to-day. And a lot of my day-to-day now is a lot of computer work. And it's hard to always document just, doing a lot of computer work. It's so much more fun to show the process of actually making the products. So I think what I'll have to do is just when Chris is making candles, I got to go in there and just like film a little bit and take photos and, really go through and still document the process, even if I'm not physically making the candles all the time anymore. But it's very, very nice and it's very helpful. But it's also hard because I always used to feel kind of disconnected from my candle business when I wouldn't make candles for a couple of weeks. So, every so often I feel like I'm going to need to come in here and just be like, can I just pour some? Can I just make some? And like, get back into that rhythm, because as soon as I start making candles again, it's like I don't forget it. It's like riding a bike. I don't forget what I need to be doing and how I need to be doing it. It's just a matter of, right now I understand that taking a break from doing that and not doing it as much is definitely more beneficial, and I'm very grateful, again, very grateful for it. But I will probably be pouring some candles every so often. This question is a YouTube question. So how much time does it take to prepare, edit, and film one YouTube video? All my YouTube videos are very different. This video I've been filming for 25 minutes so far, and it really just depends on how the video's going, if I need to do a lot of retakes, if I'm stumbling over my words, if I'm not, I call it flowing. So if I'm flowing really well in my words and I'm not stumbling and I'm making sense and I'm just, going through the video without a lot of stops, it's gonna make it easier, not only in terms of the video, the content is going to be shorter, so the amount of footage that I have is not as long, but the editing process is much easier. I always think about how is it going to be easy to edit in the future, because that really makes a difference when you have the footage there and then you sit down to edit. When you're thinking about it as you're filming, it just kind of makes the process a lot faster. I would say anywhere from 2 to 4 hours total for one YouTube video, but that could be more or less depending on how long the video is and depending on how much I mess up throughout the video, which has happened a lot before in the past. Also, I have gotten more comments recently wanting me to talk a little bit more about YouTube and YouTube for my candle business, all that kind of stuff, and how that's affected my candle business and like how to get started, or videos more on that. If that's something that interests you, let me know in the comment section below. I know that is a little bit more of a niche topic, considering what my channel is typically about, but I'm not opposed to throwing in a lot of new types of content onto my channel. I feel like that's going to have to happen, and I'm gonna have to adapt and change things up. Specifically, also because YouTube, for some reason, well, actually I know the reason, but it's not performing as well as it has before in the past. So I know that I need to change some things up and do some different kinds of content. So just let me know if that would be something that you would want to see. Next question is, how has Wholesale been going? I want to start, but I'm struggling. Wholesale is going pretty good. I definitely am looking for more distributors for my wholesale products. I am working on a specific wholesale line for my candle business, and also a wholesale catalog, because I just want to have all of the information in one area and just have it be a little bit more professional looking and have all the information in one. Because sometimes in the past I felt like I was constantly changing up little things here and there about my wholesale and private label services. So I've really just been taking the time to get some good photography in and get a catalog, put together that's definitely in the process of me getting that completed. But wholesale overall is going pretty good. We've gotten a few orders over the past couple of weeks. But what I'm really wanting is that like consistent, every single week or every single couple of weeks or even once a month, like just a really large order from a business. That's the ultimate goal with expanding more into wholesale. But yeah, it's definitely difficult because, again, with the economy right now, you definitely have to figure out what is going to be the best angle with expanding in your business. But again, there are so many businesses that are doing really, really well right now. So don't think that everybody is struggling, because that's not the case at all. There are so many businesses that are doing really well. And I know that eventually the economy is going to get better. So you just have to think about setting yourself up for those times. But overall, it's going pretty good, but I'm definitely really focused on expanding more into that. And the last question, how do you plan to juggle your business with a newborn? the thought of that is like, I have no idea. I don't know. I've never done it before. You know, I had people already make comments like, oh my gosh, I'm looking forward to, you know, getting your tips on how to run a business with a baby because I'm struggling. I'm like, man, you could probably give me some tips because I have never done that before. You know, we're just going to do the best that we can. I mean, we're just trying to get ourselves in a good situation to be able to have the basics that we need when the time comes, not even with business, but just, you know, with the baby. Like, I need a new car, not necessarily a new car, but I just need a better car. We've been sharing Chris's truck for over a year now, I want to say. My car just, it can only go shorter distances. And it just, the transmission on it is not great. So we're just trying to get that figured out. You know, it's just a matter of trying to do what we can right now to set ourselves up better for when baby is here, but also understanding and knowing that we're not going to be able to prepare or predict for everything that's going to happen. So we really have to just kind of go with the flow when the time comes. And then I think that as soon as we adjust to being parents, you know, because that's going to be an adjustment. I feel like once we can take that adjustment, then we'll be able to better figure out how it's going to be able to, you know, relate to having a business and what we're going to be doing, because obviously baby's going to be here kind of at peak season for selling candles, the holiday season and all that kind of stuff. So we'll see how that goes. And you know, I'm excited, I'm nervous, I'm scared, I'm just, you know, kind of all over the place with all of that. But I know that the only thing that we have to go off of right now is that Chris and I have a really good foundation together and that we're a really good team. We can figure it out. And, you know, that's all I can go off of right now. So I have no idea how it's going to work, but I do know that we will figure it out one way or another. And potentially I may have to, you know, back off from the business slightly, just a little bit, during that time because, you know, there's going to be such an adjustment. Chris may have to get a job in the meantime to be able to supplement, you know, the lost income. And, you know, there's also YouTube as well. So there's all these things that I'm thinking about because, you know, with having my income be so up and down all the time, you just never know what you're going to be getting in every month. And when you're starting a family and having a baby, that can be definitely a little bit scary. But again, the nice thing is that Chris he has the option to be able to go out and get more steady income coming in if that is needed. And we've gone through all, you know, pros and cons, different ideas, and just still trying to get that figured out. So I definitely don't have all the answers of what's going to happen. But again, I tried so hard to plan so much in my life that, you know, I'm kind of learning right now that I don't have control over a lot of things that happen, and I just need to enjoy and work on the moment. And again, just like that quote, doing what I can do right now to set myself up better for the future. So that's what I'm working on right now. So I'm just, you know, going with the flow, trying to figure it out, thinking of fun, new kinds of content that I can put out for you guys, try to boost my YouTube. And if you could please comment on this video, that really, really helps to boost the algorithm for YouTube. And I feel like I need to make that more a point in my videos because I feel like I never, you know, ask you a question or, you know, have you comment more on my videos, but that definitely does help the YouTube algorithm. But with that, I'm going to end today's video right here because I could do a Q&A for like 2 hours. I feel like I could just sit here talking. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to leave it a big thumbs up as well as subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Also, don't forget to follow me over on Instagram. at Memory Box Candle Co. And I will see you in my next video.